Howdy guys, Indy Cooey 70 here, and this is a kind of a break from my normal type videos I do, but wanted to share a little bit and maybe help somebody out. Got here, this is a 95 Ford Ranger 4x4, it's a 4-liter V6, and I was having intermittent starting issues with it. Sometimes you'd get in, hop in, turn on the key, and it'd fire right up. And then sometimes you'd turn the key and it would crank over and crank and crank and crank and crank and crank and nothing. So I, immediately start throwing parts at it like any good knucklehead. And also, first thing I did is I changed camshaft position sensor. And that seemed to solve it for 2 or 3 days, and then started having problems again. So I thought, well, it's got to be the ignition switch. And so I took everything on the inside apart, pulled that out, and replaced it, and that didn't do any good either. So I got a friend over and had the key on, and got the little Schrader valve down up under there, pressed it. 3-inch. Sorry guys, little technical difficulties there. But anyway, we weren't getting any fuel when we turned on the key. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's not cool. So decided, oh, well, it must be a relay. Well, got 3 relays there, and they all have the same underside plug-in parts. So I swapped them around and got in, started it, and it started right up. So I'm thinking, yay, it's a relay. Well, so I shut it off, put things back together, get in it, go to town, find another relay, and it won't start. It's doing the same thing again. At this point, I'm about ready to set a whole box of puppies on fire. But instead, I pulled the fuel pump relay, and I took this little piece of metal here and I bridged from a 30 to 87. I don't know if you can hear that, but it kicks the fuel pump on, whether the key's on or not. Those are your hot wire here and your ground wire here that actually run your fuel pump. Now, to get signal to run the fuel pump, it's got a hot wire and a ground wire that are smaller diameter. And those are the 2 little horizontal prongs here. Let me get it in focus here and here. Sorry, it's hard to look at it and figure it out. But anyway, that's your ground there, and you're hot over here with the key on. And it's like I said, I've got my test light plugged on the ground here. So when you touch this one, of course, it lights up, it's hot. And that's with the key off. Now, this one, the one over here, that's going to stay right there. And, when you turn the key on, which I'll go do, that's going to turn on. So, here we go. Okay, be contrary. Yep, it comes on. But what wasn't happening is this over here. That ground, underneath that spade connector, there's a broken wire. And it makes contact every once in a while. So I went and routed another wire to put there, and then plug in that, and the fuel pump comes on. And now it cranks and runs like it's supposed to. All for a little piece of ground wire that cost me about 20 cents. And wow, it just starts right up. Look at that. But because of the way that wire was broken under there, it was intermittent, and once in a while it would make contact and once in a while it wouldn't. And that pretty much drove me nuts. But anybody else that has a Ford, that little piece of wire, like I said, I've got it run up here and tied into the other ground there, and I could have made it shorter and just, you know, looped it from where ground's inside. But it's always good to have a little bit of extra wire that you can cannibalize on a vehicle in case you get broke down somewhere and need a piece of wire. But anyway, wanted to share that with you guys. It's really wasn't an expensive fix, but it was a very time-consuming fix and a very frustrating fix, because I crawled all the way up under this thing, all the way to the fuel pump, and tracked wires all the way up under the dash, all the way around here, till I finally got right there and found out it was a broken wire underneath that spade connector that would make contact if you pressed in just right and manipulated the box a little bit, you know, wiggled it some, it would make contact and you could start the car. But this little guy right here, something like that will get you home if your fuel pump relay goes out. If you bridge it from 30 to 87 and your fuel pump's still working but just your relay's bad, you can go ahead and you can get home. It sure beats walking. Anyway, talk to you guys later.